I am not kidding when I tell you that I have reviewed this IEM 4 times before this, or like 3 times or something, and this thing has like 3 different tunings. So like, okay, whatever happens in this review happens. I'm sorry. Anyway, this is gonna be a review of the Simgot EN1000 King Wonder. This IEM retails for 190 bucks. Sometimes you can find it for like 150, something like that. I'll find the cheapest I can find it in the description below. Usually that's on Amazon and stuff like that. Now, this is a single DD IEM, and let's get into it. So it's got a pretty big box. You got a diagram of the IEM here, 10mm driver, diamond light coating, CNC aluminum, I think. You got the tuning switches and a graph of the sound, which this looks completely wild. I don't know. I'm ignoring that. Anyway, let's unbox it. Let's get this out of the way. Open this up. Again, I've opened this thing literally 3 times already, so I'm getting tired of it. And these tabs are starting to break off. Anyway, you should open these tabs and you can get this little welcome card. Open this up, little pop-up message from the company and stuff like that. Let's take that out of the way. Get the case with some stuff in there. We'll talk about it in a bit. Pull this tab here. Got the IEMs. Take the IEMs out. Some of the best looking IEMs I've ever seen. We'll take a closer look in a second. Get that out of the way. Pull this out. Open it up. Cards with how to put the IEMs in your ears. I don't know why you need to get informed about that, but this is kind of important. Let's get the English one. You can put how to put the like tuning plugs in. I will show you anyway. So yeah, and here we have. I think these are the ear tips in here. Yep, it does give you 2 sets of these, which is very nice. And they are important, so we will use them. And here we have some more. These are the tuning plugs. All right, let's get this out of the way. Anyway, so let's take a look at the IEMs themselves here. Let's get a look at the design. Beautiful design. Honestly, some of the best looking, if not the best looking IEMs I have seen, like up close in person. It's a full aluminum shell, very fingerprint attracting, but hey. It's got metal grill here. It says Simgot, I think, on the back, or like, yeah, it says King Wonder on the back. And the front has these like leaf designs with a nice acrylic covering above it. So it's actually there's acrylic above the cool design, and I really like how these look. I think they look amazing. Anyway, let me take these the tuning plugs out of the foam insert. There's one more in the case, so we'll open up the case here. Case is nice sized. I think it's a little big again for portability. I think it's actually smaller though than a lot of the other ones I've seen, but it's got a magnetic clasp and this elastic bands for holding the tuning plugs if you want to take those with you. Again, another set of ear tips and the cable. Important thing for this IEM. We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, nice case. All that. Let's move this over here. Now the cable, very nice. I love this cable. Best cable to come with an IEM under $200. I love this thing. Very smooth IEM cable, very fluid. And if you are a watcher of my channel, you probably think this kind of looks familiar. That is because it is a very similar cable to the cable that comes with the Tonal Globe, which is a $340 IEM. Here's the cable with the globe. As you can see, it just looks similar even. I think that the Simgot one's a little bit nicer though. I don't know. The Simgot one kind of flows a little bit nicer to me. And I mean, it better be good though, to be honest, because you need these tuning plugs for the sound. This may seem like, hey, it's a detachable cable, which it is, but I'm not aware if you can buy another one of these cables if you lose it or damage it. And what are you going to do without the plugs? So anyway, very nice cable though. I'm very happy with the cable. Very good. Let's talk about how to install the tuning plugs before we get into... Actually, no, let's talk about fit first. Sorry, let's talk about fit. Because fitment's a little bit strange for me on these. So I like to use small spin fits on a lot, if not like almost all. Not all, but most of my IEMs use these small plugs, small tips. But with these, it's not that they don't fit, it's just that these have a very small area before it starts to enter your ear. So let me just put this on here. So it doesn't have too much space, so it kind of like this part kind of goes into my ear. So it's better to use, if this happens to you at least, to use maybe a medium set of tips, which I use actually with these, and they fit well. with the medium tips. I always am someone who uses small tips, but I use medium. So if you're not getting good fit with the smalls and you're used to using smalls, try the medium ones and see if it gets better for you. And also the sound is better with the stock tips. For me at least, I prefer it. Now we can get into installing the plugs. I'm going to actually take out the plug that I left in here because this is actually my favorite plug. The blue one. Now the plugs are all color coded. We got the red, the black, and the blue. We'll talk about the sound difference about those in a second. But let's talk about how to install the plugs. Very simple. You just take the plug here with this little notch. There's also a black dot indicator on the front. So you push this casing back a little bit. It's just, yeah, push the casing back, and you're gonna get this little plug here. It's a little bit harder for me because I'm on camera, but it's easier in person, trust me. So you match up these little dots and the notch, and you plug it in. It'll feel a little loose, but that's fine, because once you put the metal casing back on, you can pull on it a little bit. Come on, there we go. And you can just screw it on, and you got the plug. And it's actually not too big. It's not too big. If you take the plug comparison size with the pen-on one, it's almost the same. So pretty nice that they managed to make it in a small, portable style plug, because a lot of modular stuff is super long, very annoying. Now, I'm going to take this out actually, and to take it out, very simple. You hold on the actual plug itself and you twist on this, and then you can just unplug it. Anyway, and I'll move the cable out of the way now, and these tips, we don't need them right now. So, the actual IEMs themselves. So, let's talk about the sound. The sound is not technically impressive. Technically. The technicalities, I mean. Like, the technicalities aren't impressive. I don't like the detail retrieval. The detail retrieval is not up to par with the price. But I do love these IEMs, and I do recommend them, so we'll get into that. But the soundstage, first of all, amazing. I love the soundstage. Soundstage is very reminiscent of the Pen-on Globe. Which is funny because the cable was similar to. I got these IEMs at the same time. Anyway, the soundstage very wide, but the imaging is not good. I do not like the imaging on these. I think that a lot of instruments kind of have a little bit of blending together a little bit, and it just stops it from sounding very pinpoint. So I don't think it's very good for anything that would prefer to have something like that, like movies, video games, stuff you like that you want to hear the location of a player or person. I don't think these are good for that, but these are very musical. Now, what do I mean by musical? I think the timbre is amazing. The tonal balance is very nice. Not fatiguing. The instruments are very just smooth and clear. And even though it's smooth, it still has energy to it. It's energetic sounding. The bass is punchy. Not the most textured bass I've heard. It could use more work, but I think that it still sounds excellent. I think the mid-range is, with the tip I like, which we'll talk about in a second, is forward and very, how do you say, just pleasant. It's pleasant, enjoyable to listen to. I am having fun when I listen to these. Is it as technically proficient as a Performer 5? Not even close. I think a Performer 5 is much more technically proficient. It has much better detail imaging. Soundstage is similar. I think this is a wider stage. But I think these are much more fun, much more enjoyable. I think I use mainly my IEMs for music listening. I don't use them for gaming and movies personally. But, and so that means I like these. And if you do like gaming and movies with your IEMs, these are not for you, in my opinion. I don't think you should use them. I think you should get something else. But if you're a music listener, and you were using these only for music, really, or mostly at least, these are amazing for that. If you want a fun sound. When I go outside, I'm not listening for details all the time, unless I'm testing the IEMs, of course, for review. But if I'm just enjoying my music while walking outside, or I'm waiting for something, I'm in line for something, I don't know. I'm not listening for details nonstop. That's not why I have IEMs. I'm not analyzing for details all the time. Sometimes I want to hear the details, and it's not like these are detail, completely no detail at all. But they're not the best for detail. But they're enjoyable. They're fun. Anyway, I'm not going to repeat myself again and again over that. My bad. Anyway, so let's talk about the difference between the tuning tips. My favorite is the blue. I think I might have already said that, I'm not sure. All these times I reviewed it, it's starting to get confusing. I'll just say right now at the beginning, so I can annihilate this from existence. This sucks. The red tips. So the reason is the note weight on these is nice. I like the note weight. But the note weight with the red tips suck. everything sounds so thick, it's awful, and it makes everything sound very muddy, and it's just terrible. It just these sound terrible. It just the red with the red tips, you can't really use these in my view. Maybe you'll like them. I don't know. I think everything sounds really thick and muddy, and just it makes the whole experience very, and also reduces the soundstage overall. With this plug, I don't enjoy the sound at all, actually. So it goes from being a recommendation to just sounding terrible. Now, let's go to the black and the blue tips. These don't sound as different as I thought they would, but there is a difference. The black tip will be more emphasis on bass, and the blue tip will be more emphasis on the mid-range. Now, with the black tips, I can recommend them still, but it does decrease the soundstage a little bit. It's still wide, but it does decrease the soundstage a little bit. And but otherwise, it's punchy, it's fun, it's enjoyable. I think that the black tip, the black plug, it's good. I can recommend that. Now the blue tip is where things get real good, though, for me. I think the blue tip is like just a gorgeous sound. I don't know. It's just the mid range is forward, but not too forward. Very musical sounding, very smooth. The singer is just right in front of you or something. The instruments are very nice sound. I don't want to explain it without because I'm explaining this one, but I also don't want to say it's detailed because it's really not. It's just enjoyable. It's fun. It's got energy. Both of these have energy. The blue, though, I really like the vocal performance on the blue, on the blue plugs. Anyway, now also let's talk about what it sounds like with any plugs, with just without plugging them into a stock cable. I did say that you wouldn't be able to replace the cable, of course, but I think that the stock plug sounds kind of similar. Like, not a stock plug, sorry, just a third-party plug. This is the Pen on Globe plug. It sounds very similar to the black plug, so that's pretty interesting. I don't know if maybe the black has like the least modifying things. I don't know what they're doing in here to make it sound different. That's not my job. I don't know, but it sounds the most similar to the black plug. It kind of sounds somewhere in between them both, but sounds more like the black. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say for these. Let's bring in, the Rinko and the what's it called, the Hexa, for a small bit of comparison, not much. I think that if we're gonna say it sounds similar to anything, the black is more like a Rinko, and this is the black one. I can't really stand these up to show constantly the colors, so remember this is black. The black sounds more like the Rinko. The blue sounds more like the Hexa. I think that still the Rinko beats these out in bass because the bass texture on these is not what I would like. I think the bass texture is better on the Rinko. I think the bass texture on this is just not as technically proficient as I would like in this price range, to be honest. It's just not where it needs to be, but it's still punchy, it's still enjoyable, and it's not garbage. It's there. It's there to assist the rest of the song. It's not a focus on either of these tips, and it's not a detriment. It's just okay. Now the mid-range I think on these is better than the mid-range on the Hexa when you have the blue tips on. And with this on, it's still great mid-range. I think that it's the same as quality as the Hexa. Now, the soundstage is better with both tips on either of these. The soundstage on this with the blue is just amazing. I love the sound. It's very wide sounding, very wide. Like this is your head. It's like here. It's like the Globe. The very similar soundstage to the Globe, which is impressive at this price. Now, I didn't leave the Performer 5 a great review because I just didn't enjoy the sound personally. I didn't find it enjoyable. These I find enjoyable. Is the Performer 5 more technically proficient? Yes. I think that the Performer 5, from an objective standpoint, in technicalities, is more detailed and has better imaging. 100%. But tuning, I found these to be more enjoyable. I enjoy the sound quality. I enjoy the sound signature, tonality, just more. I don't know. That's just me, I guess. I mean, I'm enjoying these a lot, even though they don't have the best detail. I just find them very enjoyable. So I can recommend these. At 150, it's a steal. At 200, it's a good deal. I mean, that's pretty much it. I hope this helped out. I mean, I recommend these wholeheartedly if you are not looking for something crazy detailed, but you just want to enjoy the music with really nice pair of IEMs that also look quite nice. I think these are a good buy. Anyway, I hope this helped out. See ya.